Hello and a very good morning to everyone. Welcome to the daily current affairs analysis of the Shankar IAS Academy, and today's video is for the date of 11th of July 2025. So these are the topics for discussion. This main article discusses about the impact of the melted glaciers which leads to volcanic eruptions. The next mains article, known as accessibility and inclusivity, discusses the impact of accessibility as well as inclusivity for persons with disabilities, and the rest of the prelims article, the green tax, discusses about their impact on horticultural products. Next, the earthquakes at Guatemala, where we will be seeing the geographical importance. Again same, the news on bridge collapse in Gujarat, we will be seeing geographical features and their importance. And the last two articles, NPR discusses about the National Population Register, and the last article discusses about UAE and their golden visa and the features associated with it. So without any delay, let's get into the articles discussion one by one. Here, green tax has been slashed in Andhra Pradesh, and 275 crore support for mango and cocoa farmers. So let's look into the basic understandings of few concepts. First is the green tax. So what are the key features of the green tax? So it is a tax where the any transport vehicles which are older than 8 years have to pay 10 to 25% of road tax, and this is known as green tax. So here it includes private vehicles will be taxed at registration renewal centers after 15 years. There has been lower tax for public transport like city buses, and higher tax up to 50% for vehicles in polluted cities. So here there are few exceptions for vehicles such as electric vehicles, CNG, ethanol and LPG vehicles, and farming vehicles, which include tractors, tillers, etc. So this is known as green tax. So here the news is the green tax has been slashed in Andhra Pradesh for vehicle owners who are in support for mango and cocoa farmers. So what is the purpose and benefits of green tax? First is to discourage the use of the older vehicles as well as the polluting vehicles, and next is to encourage a shift to even more cleaner as well as newer vehicles for sustainability. And the third purpose and benefit is to reduce the pollution and make the polluter pay, so bringing in the responsibility of the polluter. And next is revenue will fund pollution control and emission monitoring facilities in states. So these are the purposes and benefits of the green tax. So here the revenue generated will be funding the pollution control, and the emissions are monitored in facilities in different states. Now we have seen the basics about the green tax, and let's see the other prelims basics about the cocoa as well as about the mango industry in India. First, cocoa is grown in equatorial and humid tropical climate, which is 25 to 35 degrees Celsius. It requires 1500 to 2000 millimeter rainfall annually, and next it prefers well drained and organic rich soil. Next, looking into their production, 70% of global cocoa are imported, and they are from Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria and Cameroon countries. In India, the states which has production of cocoa are Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu are top producers. They are grown as an intercrop under coconut as well as areca nut due to shade requirement. So both the cocoa and the mango industry are important for the horticulture in country India. Now looking into the basics of mango, they are grown in tropical and subtropical climate under 24 to 30 degrees Celsius, and it needs 750 to 2500 millimeter of well distributed rainfall, and it grows best in well drained and loamy soil. So this is the pH level. Now looking into their production in India, India is the largest mango producer, almost 40% of world output. So these are the top states, which is Uttarakhand, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra and Karnataka, and there are varieties which are famous, which is the Alfonso mango, Dasheri mango, Langra mango, Bangalapalli mango and Totapuri mango. So these are famous varieties adhered to different states. So these are the basics when it comes to the mango industry in India. So I hope the article is clear. Let's move on to a prelims practice question. Which of the following is not a major cocoa growing state in India? Option A Kerala, option B Punjab, option C Tamil Nadu and option D Karnataka. And here the obvious answer is option B, Punjab. Now moving on to the article, death toll from dozens of earthquakes and aftershocks in Guatemala rises to 4. So why it was in the news? The authorities have confirmed 4 deaths in Guatemala, which is a day after dozens of earthquakes have shook the country, and it has left a lot of damages and blocked by the landslides. Now, through the news, let us see the basics of what the article contains, and at the same time, we'll see few prelims understanding on the geographical location. So, here, looking into the key details in the article, over 150 earthquakes and aftershocks with a magnitude of 3.0 to 5.7 have struck Guatemala, and these are the worst hit areas. And this is the map of Guatemala. So, here you can see the neighboring countries and look into the worst hit areas also. So here the buildings were evacuated, landslides occurred due to the uh, earthquakes and brought in even more disasters, and minor infrastructure damage was reported. So let's look into the geographical features and the causes of the location as well as about the earthquake. Looking into the causes, the tectonic causes of earthquakes in Guatemala. So Guatemala lies at the convergent boundary of the Cocos Plate and the Caribbean Plate. So here we should all know that convergent boundary is when two tectonic plates slide over, and it is and the Cocos Plate and the Caribbean Plate would be having subducting in nature. That is, the Coco Plate is subducting beneath the Caribbean Plate along the Middle American Trench. So here, due to the convergent earthquake, the Cocos Plate has been subducting. That is, one plate moving beneath the other plate, and the causes are frequent, which results in megathrust and shallow focus earthquakes. So here, this region is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, which is important and known for intense seismic and volcanic activity. So here, put it in the comment section on which are the plates are important in the geographical features. Now looking into the geographical features of Guatemala, looking into their location, they are part of the northern Central America, and their borders with Mexico, Belize, Honduras and El Salvador. The Pacific Ocean is coastline to the south of Guatemala, and the major terrain includes highlands, volcanic mountains and tropical lowlands. So looking into the notable volcanic chains, since they are part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, they are one of the notable volcanic chain is Sierra Madre with active volcanoes like Fuego, Pacaya and Santigueto. So these are the geographical features of Guatemala. Now looking into brushing of the few basics, looking into types of earthquakes. First is the tectonic earthquakes, which is caused by the faulting, that is through convergent and divergent, which is most common globally, including in Guatemala. So that is including plates. Next is volcanic eruptions, or volcanic earthquakes due to the magma movement in the volcanic crescent. Next is collapse earthquakes, where due to the cave-ins, that is falling of the caves and having earthquakes or damage of the caves and leading to landslides also. Next is explosion earthquakes, that is from man-made explosions, for example mining. Now looking into the natural resources in Guatemala, metals are included, the gold, silver and nickel are metals included, and others include petroleum and rare earth minerals. And agriculture is one of the key sector in Guatemala. They include coffee, sugar, bananas and cardamom, which is world's largest exporter. So these are the important natural resources when it comes to Guatemala. Now, we have seen the basics understanding. Let's move to a prelims practice question. With reference to the geography of Guatemala, consider the following statements. Guatemala lies along the subduction zone, where the Nazca Plate is dividing beneath the South American Plate, making it highly seismically active. And the next statement is Guatemala shares land borders with Honduras and Nicaragua, and the answer is D, neither one nor two is right, and we have seen the explanation. Now moving on to the next article, the Vadodara bridge collapse have brought in death toll rises to 13 as search continues. So here on July 9th of 2025, a portion of the 40-year-old Gambhira bridge, which was collapsed near Padra, Vadodara, which is in Gujarat, causing vehicles to fall into the Mahisagar river. So 12 are dead and 9 were injured. probe and or investigation has been ordered. So let's look into the key incident details. So here the bridge was built in 1985, which is a key link between central Gujarat and the Saurashtra region. So here Saurashtra region is mainly linked to Kathiawara, which is in the peninsular region of Gujarat. So looking into the collapse, a slab has been fell and 6 vehicles, which includes trucks, vans, 2 vehicle auto, have been plunked into or been fallen into the river. So the rescue operations are included, which are NDRF, that is the National Disaster Response Force. It is a specialized force in India which is constituted under the Disaster Management Act of 2025 under Ministry of Home Affairs. So here, other than the NDRF, the fire brigade has been involved and locals involved for the rescue operations. And looking into the government actions involved as a response, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been given a fund of 2 lakh for the deceased and 50,000 for the injured through the Prime Minister National Relief Fund. And here the CM of Gujarat have given have provided a fund on 4 lakh for the deceased, and they have also ordered a technical probe on the issue. So these are the key details involved. Let's see the basics about the prelims understanding about the geographical location. So here the district includes Vadodara, Gujarat, and the river is the Mahisagar river, which is also known as called Mahi river. I might pronounce the name wrong. So here the nearby town is Padra in Vadodara rural. So here the looking into the river origin, it is originated from Madhya Pradesh and it flows through Rajasthan and Gujarat into the Arabian Sea. Now looking into the notable aspect, it is one of the few rivers in India that flows westwards. So put it in the comment section, what are the two major rivers which flows in the westward. And looking into the economic importance, the bridge is connected to central Gujarat and Saurashtra, which aids the transport as well as for the trade connections. So I hope the article is clear. These are the details when it comes to the prelims understanding. Now looking into the prelims practice question, the Mahisagar or Mahi river recently in news due to the bridge collapse in Gujarat is known for which of the following characteristics? Option 1, it originates in Gujarat. Option 2, it flows westward into the Arabian Sea. It forms the boundary between Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh at certain points, and which are the answer is correct. So here the option is B, 2 and 3. It doesn't originate in Gujarat, it originates in Madhya Pradesh. Now seeing the next article here, no decision yet on the NPR updation during the census, says the Home Ministry officials. So here why it is in the news, because our government has not yet decided on updating the NPR during the upcoming census of 2027 as per Ministry of Home Affairs July 2025 census meeting. So let's see the basic understandings about the NPR. So here the NPR abbreviates for National Population Register. So it is defined as it is a list of usual residents who are staying in a place for 6 months or more than 6 months, or intended to staying at that place for 6 months or more than 6 months. So this is the definition of the National Population Register or the NPR. Now looking into their legal basis, they come under the Citizenship Rules of 2003 and also Citizenship Act of 1955, as it has the link to the NRC, that is the National Registration of Citizens. So NPR is the first step to the NRC, that is the National Registration of Citizens, and they also come under the Citizenship Act of 1995. And it was first created in 2010 with Census 2011 about on the house listing phase. So it was updated in 2015 to 16, and now the controversy is in 2019 it included Aadhaar, parents' birthplace, voter ID, and etc. So looking into their data sharing, unlike the census, the NPR data is shareable with the government agencies and government institution as well as agencies for as a database. Now why it is important, because with the NPR only we can find the NRC, and now the government has not decided on updating this NPR during the upcoming census 2027. So it creates a gap in the database. Now we have seen the basics about the NPR. Now let's see few basics about the Ministry of Home Office. So the NPR as well as the census is mainly handled by the Registrar General of India under the Ministry of Home Office. So we have separately made a video on the Registrar General of India. You can have a look into it. The Ministry of Home Office oversees citizenship mainly, internal security and census operations. So, looking into the Census 2007 timeline, phase 1 has been conducted on April 2026 on house listing, on getting in the house listing. Next is phase 2 phase 2 population enumeration, that is, which should be conducted on February 2027, which includes caste count also. Here, technological use would include mobile apps for data collection, and pre-test would be conducted during August, September of 2025. Only the house listing has been tested for now. Next is training. It starts from July 2025. I hope the article is clear. We have seen the prelims understanding, so we have seen only main topics to be covered. Now let us move on to a prelims practice question and put your answers in the comment section for this question. With reference to the NPR, consider the following statements. NPR is a legally mandated exercise under the Census Act of 1948. NPR was first conducted along with the house listing phase of 2011 census. NPR data, unlike the census data, can be shared with other government agencies. The NPR is necessary step for implementation of the National Register of Citizens. So, which of the following statements are correct? Moving on to the next article here, UAE's Federal Authority for ICP denies media that there has been claims about a lifetime golden visas. So here there has been warning issued against these fake consultancies and overpriced visa services. So here the UAE's ICP have clarified the categories, conditions, regulations for the golden visas, which are clearly defined in accordance with their official law, legislation and ministerial decisions, and it is not a lifetime golden visa. So let us see the basics about this. So here, what is golden visa? It is a long-term visa for 5 or 10 years of UAE's residency, which was launched in 2019. So here it is a self-sponsored visa. There is no Emirati sponsor required. So it allows foreigners to live, work and study in UAE, and it's not a lifetime visa. It is subject to renewal, and we have seen it has its own laws, legislations, ministerial decisions and conditions. So, who are the issuing authorities here? First is the ICP, that is the Federal Authority for Identity, Citizenship, Customs and Port Security. And next is the Amir Centers. These are centers by the United Arab Emirates. Here it is a one-stop center which is designed to streamline various government transactions, which includes various government embassies and services, making them more accessible for people who are willing to come and work, as well as to live and study in UAE, which also includes India. So next issuing authority is the GDRFA, which is the General Directorate of Residency and Foreigners Affairs of Dubai. So there is no need to have a proper explanation on their functions. It is sufficient enough to know who are the issuing authorities. Now, what are the objectives of the Golden Visa scheme? So here it is to attract high skilled global talent, which includes sectors such as science, technology, culture as well as trade. So next is to promote the UAEs as a global knowledge and innovation hub for networking. Next is to reduce dependency on oil revenues by diversifying their economy. So not through just oil revenues, but also having employment and income generation through different sectors like science, technology, culture and trade. And next is to strengthen their international ties, especially with India under the CEPA 2022. So here we all know Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or the CEPA, is one of it's not just a free trade agreement which is based on tariffs, but also agreement between two or more countries to have more partnership around different sectors. So for example, you can take India and UAE's CEPA agreement, or India South Korea's CEPA's agreement. So these are the examples. So under those agreements, it helps to strengthen the international ties, especially with India. Now, what are the key features of the golden visa? So here no local sponsor needed, it is a self-sponsorship model. Next is family and unlimited staff sponsorships are allowed for travel. 6-month multiple entry visa need to be completed for formalities. There is no minimum stay requirement within the UAE, and there is a one-touch portal for the application and renewals for easy process. So these are the key features of the golden visa. So here they are given conditions and legislations and laws, and it is not a lifetime visa. Now, what is new for Indians? So, it is something called nomination system. So, here there has been a pilot initiative called the nomination system for India and Bangladesh, where the UAE has relaxed their conventional investment and property requirements. So, here not through wealth based but through nomination based, you can have in relaxation for the conventional investment and property requirements for people or citizens from India and Bangladesh to UAE to have their subjective requirements. So, looking into the selection process, it is based on professional background which has impact in their science and technology, startups and innovations, art and culture, and finance and trade. So, more than oil reserves, UAE has a focus on these sectors to have even more revenues and employment generation. So, here there is talent driven model which replaces the wealth based eligibility. So, these are the prelims understanding about this article. So, I hope the article is clear. Let's look into a prelims practice question. The golden visa program of the UAE was primarily launched to, which is option C, to promote economic diversifications and attract global talent. So, here you can see option A is not that feasible, increase oil export to partner nations, not that convincing answer. Next is restrict foreign residency through stricter visa rules. Stricter is a even more extreme word. So, here C is the right option. Now, moving on to a mains article, Chennai's activists fight for accessibility and inclusion. So, here this editorial article from the Hindu, why it is in the news, because a Chennai-based disability rights activist who was associate at the Center for Inclusive Policy, has emerged as a leading advocate for understanding accessibility and inclusions of persons with disabilities, that is the PWDS. So, what are the key highlights from the news? Here, it played a key role in filing the petition interest litigations on accessibility in railways and aviation sectors. So, here it played a key role in bringing in advocacy for amending India's disability laws post the UNCRPD, that is United Nations Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So, here it is instrumental for the push for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016, and it criticized the use of terms like Divyang or differently abled as ableist. So, even sometimes the usage of words or slangs or term can deviate from the main point of being an inclusive term also. So, here it advocates systematic inclusion and mainstreaming of accessibility in policy makings for persons with disabilities, especially in different sectors, for making their walk of life easy. So, let us see few government initiatives for accessibility and inclusion. First is the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016. It recognizes 21 disabilities and it ensures equal opportunity, access and non-discrimination. So, here it mandates 4% reservation in government jobs. Next is Accessible India campaign, Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan. So, here it was launched in 2015 to make public infrastructure, transport and ICT, information and community technology, accessible for person with disabilities. Next is Deen Dayal Disabled Rehabilitation Scheme, or the DDRS. So, here this scheme brings in a financial support to NGOs for educational, vocational training and rehabilitation. And next is Unique Disability ID project. So, here it creates a centralized database streamlining disability certification and benefits for person with disabilities. So, now we have seen a few government initiatives and the key highlight. Now, let us see the challenges associated with this topic. So, here first, there is implementation gaps in infrastructure and attitudinal change. So, here you can take Chennai as an example, a key example, especially bringing in recreational and infrastructure developments for persons with disabilities and accessibility, especially in many public places. So for example, you can take recent infrastructure developments in the Marina Beach. Next is having tokenistic inclusion is one of the challenge, and there is lack of accessible transport and education. So here you can bring in the involvement or case studies which is related to transportation, such as the low lying buses which are very prevalent in Chennai. Next is low awareness of legal rights among the person with disabilities community, and next is inadequate budgetary allocation and policy prioritization especially. So these are the challenges associated. Now looking into a way forward, first we need to empower the Department for Empowerment of Person with Disabilities to act as a cross-sectoral advisory body. So there is implementation for the inclusion. Next is to strengthen their grievance addressal and enforcement mechanisms, which is very important, making even the grievance addressal to be easily accessible. Next is incorporating universal design in the urban planning. Just as having sustainable plans, we need to bring in a universal design for the in the urban cities and in the urban planning in future. Next, to promote disability inclusive education and digital accessibility, involve the person with disabilities in policy information, such as this principle, to have their first-hand participation and their first-hand presence in the policy formation centers, especially for center as well as state policy making. So I hope the article is clear. Let us see a mains practice question and give you answers in the comment section. Despite progressive legislations like the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016, persons with disabilities in India continue to face even systematic exclusion. So critically examine the challenges in achieving accessibility and inclusion. Suggest a comprehensive way forward. Now moving on to the last article here, how the melting glacier can lead to more volcanic eruptions. So here sustained volcanic eruptions can release large amounts of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide and methane, which could further heat the planet, and how this can lead to melting of glaciers and can lead to even more volcanic eruptions. So first, what is the context here? Melting glaciers can increase the volcanic activity has been found, and the studies represented at 2025 Goldsmiths Geochemistry Conference. So here the climate change is altering both the surface level and the subsurface levels of our Earth system. So this climate change has various implications through volcanic eruptions and through glacial melting. So here, now understanding the concept, let's look into the article further. Now how it would be having an impact? First is through glacial pressure and magma chambers. So here the study have found that the ice sheets in the glaciers suppress the magma and the gases in the volcanoes. So here melting of those ices, it reduces the pressure and the magma, when the pressure interacts with the magma, the magma rises and there is higher eruption risk. So because of the strong pressure present in the ice sheets which suppress the magma and the gases in the volcanoes, there isn't any repercussions. But if there is global warming and there is melting of ice, it reduces the pressure and it has direct impact on magma, and which leads to the rising of the magma and leads to higher eruption risk. And next is magma generation and precipitation effects. So here the climate change have altered the rainwater or the precipitation level. So here first it brings in through the precipitation or the rainwater, there is rainwater infiltration happening. So here when the rainwater is infiltrating the magma present, it may trigger eruptions by reacting with the magma. So here it is ultimately climate linked. And next is how the low pressure allows the rocks to melt even more easily, and there is more magma for the infiltration to happen very smoothly. So it it reacts with the magma present. So first is the glacial pressure and the magma chambers. Next is magma generation along with the precipitation effects. So what are the historical evidences for this? In Iceland, almost 30 to 50x more eruptions have happened during post glacial periods. that is almost 15,000 to 10,000 years ago approximately, where there is post glacial, we all know, where there is melting of ice. And also the other case study or example would be Chile's Mocho volcano. Here there have been eruptions surged after glacial retreat, that is because of the global cooling. Eruptions have been surged, and this is almost 13,000 years ago. So these are the historical evidences on how the global warming leads to glacial melt and it leads to more volcanic eruptions. Now, what are the regions at risk? So first is the West Antarctica. Almost 100 subglacial volcanoes are under melting ice, and also vulnerable places would be Alaska, Russia, New Zealand, and North America. So they are adhered to both risk, which is the glacial melting as well as the volcanic eruptions. So what are the environmental and climate impacts here? First is the short term cooling. So because of the volcanic eruptions, it releases ash and sulfuric oxide, which reflects along with the sun, and it blockades the sunlight. For example, Mount Pinatubo in 1991. So this is one of the case study. Next is this is known as short term cooling. And next is long term warming. So here due to the volcanic eruptions, the release of carbon dioxide as well as the methane emissions worsen the climate change even. So this release, it brings in a positive feedback loop. So what is positive feedback loop? Here, because of the long term warming, there is glacial melt because of the release of these emissions, and it leads to eruptions, and it leads to formation of more greenhouse gases, and it leads again to more warming. So there is a loop. This is known as positive feedback loop due to the warming. And what are the implications for the global governance? Here, it reinforces urgency of the Paris Agreement, especially, and climate action, and conferences of parties related to the climate change. Next, it brings in the geological risk must be included in climate adaptation plans, especially for countries adhering to, and there is need for satellite monitoring, early warning systems, and global collaborations. Now, looking into India's specific relevance, India lacks glacier covered volcanoes, but it faces glacial lake outburst floods because of the global warming as well as the glacial melting, and also seismic hazards in the Himalayan region, as we all know, the Himalayan earthquake zone. So for India, there needs to be emphasis for integrating disaster as well as the climate risk planning. So this is the conclusion as a way forward. Here, the glacier-volcano interaction highlights our Earth system interlinkages and how the surface as well as subsurface are interlinked. So, urgent need for interdisciplinary research, risk mapping and mitigation, and the global warming now poses both surface as well as the subsurface threats that we have discussed. So, this is a very interesting article. You can have a look at the article. Now, this is the mains practice question. Don't forget to give your answers in the comment section. Melting glaciers due to climate change are increasingly being linked to volcanic activity. You can put your answers on how first. Examine the scientific basis of this connection and discuss its broader environmental impacts. So, thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to give a like, comment and share. And to further not to miss any other content, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and have a nice day.